Hello, Mr. Ed here. And for like the 6th, maybe even the 7th time, I'm back in Metairie, Louisiana, removing bees from Nikki's house. And you can see, I had a swarm trap up there. But the bees that want to go in the trap, they want to go back into Nikki's house. And let me tell you, these bees have been in here easily 6, 7, 8 months. And this hive is huge. Now normally, when I take bees out of this house, I'm able to remove the floor and then pull the hive out from the floor and working from the bedroom upstairs. But this time, the bees have moved into a new section of the floor, and the section they moved into, there is a wall sitting right over the space where the bees are, the joist space, and there's a wall over that, so I can't remove the floor, so I'm forced to go downstairs in a very, 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 very cluttered garage and try to remove these bees. I'm going to do this removal a little bit different, and when I open up the rock, I'll show you my plan of attack on this one and my reasoning behind it. But by the grace of God, I know this is going to take us more than 2 hours, Charlie.
Oh yes.
We'll get these bees vacuumed up, and I'll bring them back across the lake. Ready to wrangle, Charlie?
Ready to go.
That's right.
Let's do it.
Now I know Fred Dunn. He's always on me. Now look, Ed, you gotta show us the entrances to this hive so that we can, make all this documentation. Fred is real big on documenting everything. It's very common that anytime you have different type of materials that cover that space between the floor joists from the first and second floor, bees will find a way in, and these bees, just like the 6 or 7 before, they find their way in and will start building a hive in that floor space. So this is the only space that we have. Let me zoom in and see, maybe we can get a little bit better picture of the main entrance. It is right there, and the bees are almost directly behind that. All right, let me show you now what we found in the floor and in the ceiling. We're upstairs right now, and you can see the glow of the bees right there. Now I'm going to hit the light, and you'll see there they are. They're right on the edge. Now, what's going on? You see the glow of the bees right here, but this is just a section of them. The wall right here is sitting in that space of that floor joist. Let me go on the other side of this wall and show you the rest of the bees. Now here's the wall on the opposite side of the bedroom, and you see how much space. You probably got about 20 inches of space in here, and come look and see what the bees are now. Here is the other part of the bees. So the wall is sitting right on top of the bees, which makes taking the bees out from the floor impossible. So Charlie and I are going to have to do this job in the garage. Oh, it just went out. Now you've seen where the bees are in the floor upstairs. But the problem is, because there's insulation in the ceiling right here, or the floor above, the FLIR won't pick it up. And I'll show you. So as I turn on the FLIR, and we've measured, so we know where to be looking for these bees. And from the doorway, it should only be about 16 inches, which puts it right around in this area right here. And when you come up, well, look at that. There they were. I see them. There they are, right there. We finally found them. So, there they are. I couldn't find them before. I turned the lights off and everything, but look at that. That's them right there. Well, see, it's not showing them, but it did show them for a split second. It did show them. But the bees are right here. This is where our bees are. So I've got to remove that light, this shelf, and And after that, we'll cut the ceiling and expose those bees. After that clunk in the head, it knocked some sense in me, huh? Well, the homeowner said that right after Charlie and I left here 5 weeks ago, about 2 weeks after that, he said, all of a sudden there were no bees. And look at this. This hive was abandoned for whatever reason. Right now I see a queen cell, a swarm cell right there. But the hive was abandoned, and these are just the old bees that were left behind. These are old field bees, which would really explain why there was so little activity when we first got here. So this is basically a comb removal, and very similar to that one Charlie and I did in Madisonville, where the bees abandoned the hive for whatever reason, and all that's left are just a few bees. I don't see any stores, but I'm sure there'll be a few stores in there. I see a little bit of old brood, but I'm not expecting to find a queen in any of this. I think that all of these bees that were previously in here, they have vamoosed and found another location. Charlie, you ready to remove some comb?
Yeah, let's pull some comb.
Sounds good to me too. there's always surprises, you know. And I gotta reconsider. I think we got us a new queen in here. I've removed all the comb that was angled, and so now we're on the comb that's running parallel, no, perpendicular to the joists. And that first piece that I pulled off, I saw a brand new brood in there. So there, I'm almost certain we have a brand new queen in here, and that these bees simply just swarmed out and the majority of them left. And my concern, as what it was in the beginning, was that space that we have back up in here. I'm sorry if the camera's not picking it up. That the bees can run to that, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to remove maybe one more, two maybe, pieces of comb. And after that, I'm going to spray some Honey Bandit up in there in the back of it, because I don't want the bees to run towards the outside of the house because of that space between the brick veneer on the outside and the studs on the inside. And in the past, when I've been at this location, the bees have actually gone down into that space, and I want to avoid that at all costs, especially since now I think we have a queen. I don't want her to run down to that space. So I'm going to pull off one, maybe two, and spray it and push the bees out in this direction now that I've cleared all this space up. Get your glove off. Ah! Got it. Woo! Woo! Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Wow. I'm telling you, I'm just like surprised how my initial thoughts on this hive was that they just abandoned it. Mites may have gotten it or whatever, but there was just so few bees that I saw. But I guess the only reason was because there was so much comb in there and they didn't have enough bees in there to patrol it. But now that we have our queen in hand, I'm not going to have to spray any Honey Bandit up in there to run them out, because they're not going to run. They would only run to follow her. So I'm just going to keep cutting out that comb. And man, this video is just about over. Thank you, Jesus. Woo! That is nice. That's a big queen. Big old butted girl. Well, folks, it ain't there no more. Wow, that was a lot of comb. And I'm so glad that I didn't have to spray that Honey Bandit in the back of that hive to chase the bees out, because as it turned out, that was like the best comb on there for this hive, full of stores of pollen, nectar, honey. Perfect for these bees to get going again. And let me show you what I was really afraid of. It was this right here, this space right here, between where the outside of the house is and that brick veneer. That goes all the way to the ground. And that's where I'm concerned that the bees would run in that space, and within that space I can't get them out because that runs the whole length of the building. So as it turned out, by the grace of God, we didn't have to do that, and we got everything out of here. We got a few more bees up in here, and we'll get these vacuumed up, and we're going to wrap this video up. One more thing, Fred, I just wanted to show you. There you go. There is the entrance to this hive. Here's all our booty from this one. We got our queen, our bees. We got 3 chests of comb. Look at this. It's that first comb. This is that one, the very first part where the newer comb was, right there. This was the second box that once we started getting into the comb that was perpendicular to the joist, got those in here. And then in this box, this is all the comb that was at the very end. And this is what I'm going to put into the box with these girls right here. This is some beautiful, beautiful comb. Got a spot for you, right here. There's a spot for you. Got a tiny, tiny little spot right for you.
Spot right.
Look at that! It fit. You fit perfect. You fit perfect.
All right.
Yeah. All right. What?
Hey, folks, we're here. We made it.
No, Charlie. We're leaving.
Well, we're here. We did it, and now we're leaving. So.
You know what? My biggest
thought?
My biggest thought is sometimes it pays to be late. Because we should have been at this job 4 weeks ago. And in that 4 weeks time, that queen, the old queen swarmed out, a new queen came in, and the number of bees, I think that there's a possibility that hive may have swarmed twice in that time. Because there were so few bees in there. You saw the bees. I don't think there's 3,000 bees in there. And I'm gonna put them in a little 5-frame nuke. That's all they're gonna get. But they got some beautiful comb into it. And so let me tell you about that comb. Because as I was pulling out that comb that was running perpendicular to those floor joists, as I was pulling them out, and I'm thinking, this is way too much comb for these bees. But that comb is just too beautiful to let go, to melt down. So what I'm going to do, because I'm afraid that I saw a lot of beetles in there, so I think there's beetle eggs in there. I'm going to take that really nice comb and I'm going to freeze it. And then in our future removals, I've got comb that's already formed.
Ready to go.
If we don't get a lot of comb from, but we're going to have backup comb for the future removal. So, man, there was a lot of comb. I was not expecting to find that much comb, but I am so glad that we waited this long, because this could have been a disaster of a removal.
You'd have been dealing with 20, 30,000 bees.
It was a lot. And at least we didn't have to go in that little tiny closet. That was it.
That would have been bad.
Yeah. All right, so those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is this was not such a bad job.
No,
I think that's pretty much it.
It turned out.
Yep. Tell you what, folks. Thanks for watching.
Keep on watching.
We're gonna be making more.
God bless, Mr. Red.
And good time, Charlie.
We are out of here until the next video.